Welcome to People Doing Good for Others. Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we praise and celebrate, honor, hold in the light those who are truly making significant contributions in our communities. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful to be here today. I want to thank Wilkes Communications, River Street Networks, and 100.9 WIFM for this opportunity. And you're going to have a wonderful benefit today as I interview a featured guest today. Her name is Anderia Byrd. She's the director of the Wilkes Solid Waste. She's a Wilkes native. She's a graduate of ASU. She has been with the county in the health department and the solid waste area since graduating from ASU. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and stay with us. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
It's good to see you, Ms. Byrd.
You as well.
Tell us about the family and growing up, if you will, in the county and going to, did you go to Wilkes Community first, maybe a little bit?
I did. Between my junior and senior year in high school at Wilkes Central, I began just the basic core classes and took a few classes over the summer months to just, begin my college career, and actually graduated early from Wilkes Central. And so the first semester of my college career, I did attend Wilkes Community College. It was a great college and helped me out. And so I took what I learned from high school and the community college and began my major at ASU.
Your choice of going to ASU, how did you decide that?
Honestly, I was, I knew I wanted to go to and get a 4-year degree, but it was a cheap college in the state, and myself, I didn't have a lot of money, and I was working my way through. I had began working when I was 17 years old in high school, and so I was working my way through college and saving and trying to get a little bit of scholarship money and that sort of thing. So I graduated from ASU, and I didn't have an exorbitant amount of debt. I only had like $2,500, and that was too easy.
Oh my goodness, how wonderful.
I know, I worked hard, but I didn't do it alone. I did have, my parents are great, and I had a great family life. And so with their support and, mom helping wash my clothes and, so I could keep up with both work and school life. It was, I couldn't have done it without the support of my family.
Names?
My mother is Joan Phillips. She's actually from Caldwell County, but grew up mainly in Wilkes County.
Okay.
And she worked for Lowe's and retired when I was a junior in high school. So she's financially, set, and she's taught me a whole lot. And my dad is Bill Phillips. He retired from the Department of Correction, where he was a prison guard for around 30 years.
So you had great support from home.
I did.
Make sure you got started right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They wanted, I'm a twin, so they wanted more for myself and my sister. And yeah, my sister is also a 4-year graduate, and I'm really proud of her. She's, we kind of, I'm proud of both of us because we exceeded what I thought, the way we grew up and what we grew up in. And,
oh my goodness.
We worked hard. It was in both of us that we were, high school wasn't going to be it. We were going to continue on with something. So we both did. Yep. Okay.
Anderia Byrd is our guest today, and I'm so excited about your story. And so if you'll start with the health department and then just quickly move to your directorship.
Okay. So when I was 8 months pregnant, I had an interview with Steve Nixon and Angie Rhodes at the Environmental Health Office of the Health Department. And it was a job where I inspected restaurants and hotels. We did well authorizations, and it was a fun job. It was a fun group of people, and I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the opportunity they gave me, and I learned a lot. We had to, go through registered sanitarian schools and keep up authorizations, and it was a pretty fun undertaking, and I really enjoyed, getting out and getting to meet people in the county, and I learned a lot about Wilkes County. It was, it's a big county, and so it was kind of fun going out and, digging around. You're kind of like a little detective and finding different things with the restaurants, and so it was fun.
Good. So we then moved over to the solid waste area.
Yes. Back in 2008, 9, 10, we were going through a recession, and what had happened was there was a position available, an environmental enforcement position available at the solid waste department. So I had talked to my director, Beth Lovett, and we both agreed that I could go to the solid waste department, still be with the county, and I would do this job, the environmental enforcement position, only temporary until we were grounded a little bit better at the health department, and I was able to come back and work with, that wonderful group of people that, I fell in love with. So I remember my predecessor, my director, he also came from environmental health. So he knew the same family of people that I had came from and knew what I had done. And a lot of our training at environmental health crossed over with the solid waste department,
Sure.
because they're both environmental backgrounds. But so I remember sitting my predecessor down, and I said, this is only temporary. I'm only here until I can make my way back over at the health department. So he shook his head, yeah, that's fine, kind of thing. And, I started at the solid waste department, and at first I was really nervous. It was a different atmosphere than what I was used to at the health department, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and it was a whole huge learning curve. But I remember going home and thinking, I have a 4-year degree and I'm working at a landfill. And I remember we're learning about landfills in my college career, but I thought, what am I doing at this stinky, smelly place, and why am I here? So I remember my first day on the job, I walk into my office, and everything, all my desk and my filing cabinets, everything was in the middle of the floor, and it was dust covered. And I remember going home that afternoon and just thinking, what any reasonable college educated
Sure.
girl does, she goes home and she cries. And she says, I'm thinking to myself, God, why am I here? What is my purpose? And I remember starting my college career thinking, no matter what I do, no matter where I end up, I want to be able to look back at my retirement age and say, I did my part and I helped. And, I made this world, and even this little bitty Wilkes County, a better place. So with that in mind, I really kind of, I remember just praying about it and just thinking, the consensus was give this a chance.
Sure.
Give it a chance, and I thought, I can do that, let's enjoy life while, you have a choice. Everybody
You're
has
a great
a choice.
fit there.
So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I fell in love with it, and it was really everything that I had studied in school and everything that I had learned. And I've always been outdoorsy and always played in the creek and always played outside and with every critter imaginable. And drove my mom crazy, but I utilized all of those things at the solid waste department, and it wasn't just dealing with trash and burying trash. It's a huge array of, we're dealing with people in a huge spectrum, all the way from engineers to different people out and about in the county that, we have to go to the solid waste complaints. And it's just, it was eye-opening, and it was fun, and it was not mundane. It still isn't mundane. And so it's everyday challenge and change, and I like it.
You are a
Really?
meticulous note taker.
I am.
And keeping, I just was so impressed to see your book with all those copious notes in it. That's,
Yes,
you can look back, and if you need to refer to something, you have it right there.
Yes, organization is huge as far as the, my position is concerned. We deal with a lot of numbers and, keeping everything straight and different aspects and areas of the landfill. I couldn't do it without my coworkers.
Yeah. How big is your staff?
We have 14 full-time positions and 10 part-time positions.
Okay.
And we're open.
What does
6
solid waste mean? Can you
It's-
just give us an explanation for that?
Sort of the definition that the state uses is household municipal waste. So it's anything
Household?
yes.
Okay.
Or it can be commercial waste. So we accept everything that you would produce at your house, or a place like Tyson or Walmart. We can accept all of, majority of their waste. We cannot accept anything hazardous or liquid. They told me, one of the smartest things I ever heard out of one of the other directors, a solid waste director, had told me in the past, you're a solid waste department, you're not a liquid waste department. So, that speaks volumes in
Sure.
itself.
Yep.
We can't take liquid paint, for instance. It would have to be dried out before we are able to accept
Right.
it. But there's different rules and regulations, and, that's one of the things that, barrels are another thing that we can't accept
Right.
unless it's perforated, and we have to make sure that,
Right.
liquid is liquid.
All right, let's go with, you told me that the tipping fee is $43 a ton. Just go there and just
Yes.
paint a picture for our wonderful audience about some of those key words in your area of concentration, if you will.
So about the tipping fee, we are currently at $43 a ton. We
Okay.
are considered an enterprise fund, and so that means that we do not operate directly off of your tax base. We don't, other counties outside of Wilkes County, and actually in all of North Carolina, we are unique in the fact that we do not charge on your taxes for the waste that we accept. We are called a pay-as-you-throw program.
Pay as you
Throw.
okay.
So as you cross our scales or you enter one of the manned convenience sites in the county, you're to pay the bag price.
As
Or-
I visited your office yesterday,
Yes.
what was, just kind of paint a picture of what was going on there, where there's a lady and a man and scales and,
Yes, we
Tell us
have,
about that.
the first building that you'll
you
come
see,
to at
right?
the landfill is called the scale house, and you'll cross the scales if you want to, the other outside convenience centers don't have scales. But at the landfill, you would just cross the scales. If you have a big load of bulky waste and possibly a trailer, we will weigh you in. The scale operator will take your weight and move you through the line. You'll have to empty your load and come back around and weigh out. Or we can charge you per bag price. Whichever is cheaper for you is mainly the direction that the scale operator is going to navigate you through. So you do have the option. If you come in with a few bags, we of course don't want to weigh you in. If you're, two 35-cent bags, you're just going to pay 70 cents, and you don't have to weigh back out, because it is time consuming to dump and come back through the line. And
right.
But yes, that's sort of the operation at the scale.
And how many cars and trucks will come in a day?
That varies. We have a lot of our commercial waste will come through Monday through Friday. And so we don't have as many residential users until Saturday. And then Saturdays are a really busy day. We're open from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. And during that time frame, we can easily cycle through close to 600 cars. So that's, and some of those vehicles are coming through twice. So you're easily processing through about a vehicle a minute on a Saturday.
Okay. Ms. Byrd, you used the word protrusible.
Yes.
Is that the way you say it?
Yes.
Tell us, what does that mean?
The trucible waste is waste that will break down, like food waste, and it will produce liquid and gas, and something like a tomato would be an example. If a tomato rots in a windowsill, it's gonna produce gas, it's gonna produce the liquid waste. And so in the landfill, if you sort of exacerbate that tomato into a lot of food waste, the landfill itself will produce what's called leachate, which is the liquid waste that comes out of your trash. And it will also produce gas, methane and carbon dioxide primarily. So we monitor all of those. That's a whole nother subject, but with the landfill, they tell us that we're a state-of-the-art landfill. We are considered a lined landfill back in 1993 when the Roaring River landfill opened. Those subtitle rules came into effect, and we were required to have a liner system put in and a liquid collection system, which is called our leachate collection system. Yeah. And then, of course, we have to monitor all the, the gas and the groundwater. And
tell us about lining that cell or that area. Will you do that for me?
A quick, simple example would be, we are actually a landfill in its entirety from the time it opens to the time it closes. You're creating almost like a bag for your waste. So we have to start out with a hole, and we put our bottom liner in, and there's several different ways you can construct the liner system, but we use bentonite chips and clay, and it has to pass compaction test and everything from the engineers. But you actually put the liner system down. It's a thick liner, and then the collection system goes on top of that, which is the network of the pipes to collect the liquid that drains through your waste. And then
now that leachate, give us a little bit more of that. It's the condensation that comes out of solid waste.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, and we can't just release that into the groundwater.
We used to do that, right?
In the past, landfills before '93 were not lined,
right.
So they, the
that's a vital
was,
part of your explanation to us, is about
absolutely.
That it's like a bladder inside that area.
It is. The pipe system underneath the landfill and on top of the liner actually has perforated holes. So as the rain or the liquid drains from the trash itself and percolates through to the bottom of the liner system and into the pipe network, it's then funneled to what we call a leachate pond. And from there, we actually pump that into a tanker, and we transport it to the the town of North Wilkesboro wastewater treatment plant
for
processing.
It for us.
Yes,
okay.
yes. We are very regulated through the state for several things. We have inspectors come for land quality, water quality, air quality, and then our state inspector biannual inspection.
So another one that I wanted to make sure today that you share is groundwater.
Yes.
Now what is, that must be, we can't let the leachate run into the groundwater.
Correct. We're all about protecting the environment, and that's where the regulations, the state and federal regulations, come into play, because we have to abide by and put safe holds in and construct our landfill in such a way that we are environmentally sound. We have, they check us for exceedances, and at this time, the Wilkes County landfill, we have no exceedances. We're perfect in our regulations and abiding by everything. We have to keep records, and there's a lot of just rules and regulations that they're constantly changing, but there's a lot of upkeep behind the scenes at a landfill, and it takes everybody on board to make sure things are happening as they should.
And it's 180 ton a day?
We average about 180 tons of trash a day, 6 days a week, and we only are allowed to accept Wilkes County trash. We can't accept outside trash, but we do accept trash from the 69,000 residents and all of the businesses in the county, so we're a pretty decent resource for Wilkes County.
All right. Anderia Byrd, the Director of Solid Waste in Wilkes County, 69,000 people, 600 cars a day. Tell us about, as we drove up yesterday and we're filling this cell, and it's kind of a cone coming up like this, right?
Yes.
And that big powerful machine, a sheep's foot roller on it, and we're required, the better we pack it,
Yes.
the less area that we use.
Yes. So
tell us what was going on when you said you stopped and said, now look, here's what's happening, and we'll cover that. Tell us how that goes.
So daily, we have operators, equipment operators, and the machine you're referring to is what we call an 836 compactor. And our goal daily is to take all of the trash that we get for the day, and we want to squeeze as much what they call airspace out of that. And we want to make it as tight and compact as we possibly can, because airspace to us is money. The tighter we can pack it.
What a great explanation. Good for you.
So the tighter we can pack the trash, the more we can add trash to it, and the longer our life of our landfill will last. The phase we're currently in what we call phase 4 or cell 4. So if we can get this a little tight and compact unit, then we can add more trash, and instead of this.
The longer a sale lasts, the more the money we save.
Yes,
That's
absolutely,
right?
because it saves us from having to open up another phase and add on to our landfill. And so the longer we can make it last, the more we can shift the money that we would be saving for, say, phase 5. We can push that out a little bit, and it actually saves us a lot of money and helps keep our costs down. I think we average only, if you averaged the tonnage rate that we charge now, the $43 a ton, we've only increased that by 50 cents since we were open at Germantown every year. So that's pretty decent cost savings with everything. Equipment costs go up, fuel costs go up, and so I think as a whole, with the support of our county manager and the commissioners, we've done pretty decent for Wilkes County.
And they have high expectations of the operation there, and every day is an opportunity to deal with the waste and do it in a way of how can we save money by doing it.
Yes, it's very, we look for efficiency at our landfill, and any way we can save cost, and our guys are, we brainstorm and we come up with different cost saving methods, and we've done really well at the landfill.
And you were telling me that Commissioner Settle calls occasionally, and tell me some Keith Elmore.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, they're periodically we'll just get different calls from different commissioners, and John Yates, our county manager, and just checking up on us and seeing what we're doing, and if they have a lot of questions sometimes. And just like everybody, we have residents who call, and we do the best that we can to answer different things for them. But it's just, it's a learning curve. When you finally delve into a little bit of the landfill, you realize that it's huge. So we do get the calls, and just to have to explain whatever they need to know.
Good for you. Let's so we cover once more, the waste that we receive is spread out over an area. Then we compact it as best we can, and then we must cover it before the night. Is that? Yes,
at the end of every day, you want to cover it either with the 6 inches of fill dirt, or we have a tarp sometimes that we can utilize, but it's all in effect to, minimize environmental impacts when we're not there. We have a lot of birds that come visit our landfill. We have a lot of animals come and like to visit our landfill. So when things are covered, that helps keep the animals away, and really helps with the environment.
And that clay has to be a certain composition for the dirt. It has to have a certain consistency for you to put it in there. Is that right?
For the liner system, we have to have primarily clay. It can't be silt or sand. It has to be clay, because clay will, it actually expands when water hits it. So it helps with any leachate or anything that would come in contact with the clay actually acts as a barrier. So for our cover dirt at the end of every day, we can actually use any, field dirt. Clean field dirt is what
Okay.
we try to use. So
Okay. You mentioned Freon.
yes.
Tell us about what
For
about
us,
Freon?
For us to be able to properly recycle refrigerators and air conditioners, we do have to first extract the Freon out of those pieces, and we collect 134 and 12, and so we also recycle our Freon, but then once the appliance is free of the Freon, we can safely recycle it with the rest of the metal.
All right, let's turn to litter. And you said
Okay.
litter attracts litter.
Yes,
and
it does.
Give us an oversight of
So
the county's working night and day to beautify our beautiful county, and just talk about what we're doing about litter.
So with litter, I spent 8 years as the environmental enforcement officer for the county, and litter was a huge part of that job. And litter, and for Wilkes County, it retracts from our beautiful county, and it can affect people coming to visit our county. It affects businesses who would have Wilkes County as a potential to build a business.
Yeah.
And
Want to come here?
yes.
Yes.
So people like to see aesthetically pleasing areas, and Wilkes County has had litter issues like every other county.
Sure.
But we try at the landfill to do our part to try and eliminate the litter on the roadways. 81% of our trash comes from commercial haulers. So we've really tried to get them on board and making sure that they're tarping their loads outside of the landfill, that, they're taking extra steps when they pick up the big loads from different businesses in the county to make sure that, the trash is not over the rim of the container that they're hauling the trash in, and that they're properly using their tarps, and that they are actually secure. And if they see something blowing from or escaping.
Now, do our cities, does Wilkesboro and North Wilkesboro pick up on the street and bring it to your facility?
They are part of, yes, we see them daily.
Okay.
And Wilkesboro and North Wilkesboro have their own trash trucks, and they do visit us. We have a lot of regulars.
And they're private folks who have operations
Yes.
of picking up trash.
Yes.
Right?
Well, we have a group that is state funded from the Department of Transportation. His name is Nathan Walters, and he actually has a whole crew of people who will maintain the primary roads throughout the county. So that's a great benefit for Wilkes County. And,
Wow.
with the support of John and the commissioners, we're able to accept that trash for free at the landfill. So I think that's a positive. And, DOT's pretty unique or they're not really unique, but they're helpful in the fact that, DOT will provide the litter pickup bags, the grabbers, the vest. If anybody like the Adopt a Highway group or the new Clean Up Wilkes group, or individuals, I know I do this on my own road, but you can go by the Department of Transportation and gather all these materials, leave your orange bag on the side of the road, and then call the Department of Transportation, and they will come pick that up for free, haul it to the landfill for free, and then we'll accept it for free. So it's a really good resource for our
And
county.
does it have a name?
No, it's just something that the
It's a
state.
service.
Yes.
From the state to the local to the county.
Yes, and now a lot of counties, they don't want to accept the trash for free, but Wilkes County will accept all their trash for free.
Okay.
It helps beautify our county, and it's just one of those great resources out there that more and more people are gathering, and community cleanup.
And you say if you have litter, you're going to have more litter.
Yes.
So it attracts litter, right?
Yes. If you see a bag of trash or scattered trash on the roadway, it's, a lot of people will say take their fast food restaurant waste, for example, and they'll throw it out in that same section and just add to the litter. And over time, it really accumulates, and, it's not a positive thing for our county.
We're coming close to the end, and I want to thank Wilkes Communications and River Street.
Yes.
and WIFM. Tell us about the gratitude that you've been blessed in a special way, and we can tell that you're just so fascinated and really care about what you're doing.
Yes, we're a great resource for the county. We have we do a lot of outside activity work with different departments. Our department actually helped build the Carter Falls parking area for the new trail system out toward Elkin, and so we do different little projects throughout the years. And
because you have the equipment.
Yes, we have the equipment and the manpower, and you know, our guys do a good job.
Yeah.
So
what an opportunity for me to be here today, and that you've just blessed us in countless ways. And we've been sharing with Miss Anderia Byrd, and she's the director of Wilkes County solid waste. She's a dedicated person who has tremendous knowledge and is working every day to do it economically. And we are grateful that you can be with us today, and we hope you'll be with us next week. So until we do, remember that the wonderful people of this county are making significant contributions. And come back to see us, Ms. Byrd. And
thank you, it was a pleasure.
An honor to have you here today. Thank you
for having me.